Alright guys, welcome back to another operaomnia video where we are going to be talking about both Sephiroth and Warrior of Light. Two characters who are going to be getting the LD extensions finally. Sephiroth is also going to be getting a small rework, and then with Warrior of Light, he is going to be getting his Crystal Level 80 Awakening, so we finally have access to his call ability. So if you did manage to pull for his LD weapon when it first came out many months ago, you're in luck because you have yourself another strong call ability, a strong defensive call ability for future Lufenia fights. So we're going to talk about all of that in this video and kind of determine whether or not it is actually worth pulling on this upcoming banner, seeing as how the Porom banner is extremely close to this banner. So as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future operaomnia content. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about both these characters' upcoming changes and or reworks. So we're gonna start off with Warrior of Light's LD Extension. So one thing they gave him was Last Stand. So as long as he is over 50% of his max HP, he will survive an enemy HP attack and he will be left with 1 HP. So that is a plus for a tanking unit. Whenever he is using his LD ability, he got an increase in Brave recovery based on 200% of his initial Brave. Originally, it was 150. He got an increase in Brave potency by a tremendous amount. He now deals full HP damage to all targets. He got an extension to his special effect, the Guardian Shield, which is the overhead above him, by 5 actions. So now, instead of 10 actions, it now lasts for 15 actions. He also got an improvement to the Guardian Shield overhead, the special effect. So the party originally got a bit of a buff, or like an aura, on their initial Brave, max Brave, attack, and defense by 20%. Now, they made it so that the party gets an 80% increase on their defense, and then to everything else, their initial Brave, their max Brave, and attack, it was increased to 40%. So, you know, the party is getting a little bit more auras out of the Guardian Shield. Also, they added some more effects to the Guardian Shield. So the party recovered Brave, max Brave overflow limit 20% up. Party Brave damage taken 40% reduction, which is nice. Party, whenever their turn begins with the shield active, it recovers Brave based on 50% of the remaining shield value, which is convenient. And then when the shield is active, HP damage delta for the party 20%, and then for Warrior of Light he gets a 30% HP damage delta, which is nice because I mean with Warrior of Light, depending on set fight, he did kind of struggle a little bit in terms of the amount of damage that he tried to do, especially the Brave potency was definitely a problem with him. He might still slightly struggle a little bit, but I mean with his LD ability, it'll probably help him out, especially with the Guardian Shield special effect. So it'll help him out a bit, a little bit. It just depends on set fight, you know, the reductions and all the other shenanigans and whatnot. But just having that HP damage delta, not just for the party but also for himself, for that 30%, does help him out a good amount, especially with just his skill 1 and his skill 2, with a shield and the other one, which I already forgot what the name of that one. So it'll help him out at the end of the day. Now with his call ability, his LD call ability, the targets will be inflicted with the target lock debuff for 4 actions. The party will be granted with the shield buff, which will be based on 300% of their own initial Brave for 6 actions. The call effects, which last for 3 actions, when the turn begins with shield active, you can recover Brave based on the remaining value of the shield. And then you can also get reduced HP damage taken based on the remaining value of the shield. The only Brave damage will lower the shield value. Now, I do want to know that the enemy can reduce that shield value, and if they do knock out that shield and you still have that call effect active, you still will take damage. So you got to make sure that you're not taking too many brave hits, because you will lose that shield and you will actually take damage regardless if you do have that call effect still active. Next, we'll get into Sephiroth and his small rework. So with his rework on his skill 1, it now turns into a 5-hit AoE melee brave plus an AoE HP attack that does split damage. He'll recover brave based on 20% of the total HP damage dealt, and then he will do a 6-hit melee brave plus single target HP attack. He got an increase in brave potency by a small amount, and he has some overflow in it, 150% overflow. With his skill 2, he got an additional 2 uses to his Octa Slash ability, which is pretty cool. And then whenever you use said ability, it turns into Recover Brave to himself based on 200% of his own attack plus an HP attack, followed by a 7-hit melee brave plus HP attack. He recovers brave again based on 20% of the HP damage dealt. He does the same attack again, and then on the last HP attack, he deals 20% splash damage to other targets. Now with his LD extension, whenever the quest begins, he now starts off with 1 stack of the Bringer of Despair for 6 actions, and then the enemies start off with the gold frame cellular degeneration for 4 actions. Now whenever he is using his LD ability, it now turns into Recovered Brave to himself based on 300% of his own attack. Then he does an AoE HP attack, follows up with a 8-hit AoE melee brave plus an AoE HP attack. He'll recover brave based on 30% of the total HP damage dealt, and then he will finish up with that 8-hit AoE plus HP attack once again. He got an increase in potency by a tremendous amount. He got overflow. He got an increase in stolen brave, max brave overflow by 80%, so now it's up to 200%. And then they changed the cellular degeneration into the gold frame debuff. Originally it was not the golden frame. And then he grants 1 stack of the Bringer of Despair to himself for 12 actions. Now the Bringer of Despair buff, it's a stackable buff. So what that does is it gives him a attack up, initial brave up, max brave up, recovered brave, max brave overflow limit up, and a brave gained from brave attacks. And at 1 out of 5 stacks, it's at 5%, 2 out of 5, 10%, 3 out of 5, 15%, 4 out of 5, 20%, and then 5 out of 5, it's 30% out of all of the stuff that I just mentioned, all in this 1 framed buff. Also, he does get, he has a self HP damage delta by 10%, but this does not increase based on the stack count, which would have been really nice for Sephiroth, because that would actually be helpful for him outside of synergy, in my opinion. But you know, that's for a whole nother video. Now with his LD Call ability, he'll do his attack and everything like that, and basically he will be inflicting the enemies with the golden framed cellular degeneration to all targets for 4 actions. So now we get to the point of the video. Should you pull on this upcoming banner, or should you throw some resources at this upcoming banner? Now this banner is gonna be very tough, and the only reason why I say this is because there is a 3rd unit on this banner that also has an LD and a BT, and that is none other than Paladin Cecil. Paladin Cecil does not get anything out of this banner whenever this banner gets released. It's mainly focused on just Warrior of Light and Sephiroth. So it's gonna be tough if you are thinking about throwing resources at this banner, because you basically are playing the real, you're really playing RNG at this point with this banner, because like you're gonna have to get around LDs, BTs, everything, because if you're chasing like one thing out of like the many weapons on this banner, it's gonna be tough to try to avoid everything else to focus on one thing. But if you are willing to take the chance, Warrior of Light, let's start off with Warrior of Light. Warrior of Light, again, if you want to at least the minimum get his LD, it would not be a bad choice at all. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, having him as an LD call really does come in handy. It actually has saved my butt so many times, not only in the next 2 months and even during the BT Plus era into Lufenia Plus era, but his call ability actually did save my butt a good amount of times just because of those shields. So if you are needing a strong defensive call, you know, if you have an idea, a pretty good idea of how Warrior of Light's shield works, how his LD ability works, and if you missed out on it the first time, and if you're thinking about going for it on this upcoming banner, then you can throw some resources at this banner, even though Porom is coming up next. And Porom, I mean, she's kind of considered like a tank. I mean, she's a bit utility as well because she also heals. But I mean, she has HP overflow and she does reduce HP as well. So you kind of have to think about like whether you want somebody with shields or would you want somebody else who has like HP overflow that also reduces like the amount of HP damage you are taking. So it really depends of like if you want to take the chance on like RNG with this banner, or not RNG, but what's the other word? I forget what the other word is. But if you want to take a chance on this banner, if you want to have a much better chance on the Porom banner, not that I'm over here trying to like promote the Porom banner, I'm just saying like if you are wanting to have a defensive type of like call or a defensive type of unit, then you know, for me personally, I would not, if you're tight on resources, I would not pull on this banner. If you are tight on his resources and you are looking more forward to Porom than this banner. For Sephiroth though, now Sephiroth, I mean he got a pretty solid rework. I did like what they changed with him. The only thing, the thing is, for me at least, from what I had seen, is that I feel like he kind of came at a bad time. And the only reason I say that is because next month you have Cloud of Darkness. She's going to be getting her LD and BT. You also got Titus. He's going to hit his LD and BT. You have other characters that are going to be getting their LDs. And then you got the following month. You got Yuna, who's going to be getting her LD and BT. You have X there for anybody who likes the tree. He's going to be getting his LD and BT, and then finally we get into the BT Plus era in October. So, you know, I think if Sephiroth would have came just maybe another month or two earlier, then I would say like, yeah, it would be a good thing to have him because like he does deal some solid damage. If you do already have him, great. You could take advantage of what he is going to be getting with the changes and whatnot. But if you don't, I would say, like I said, being that this banner has 3 LDs and BT characters, or yeah, you know, 3 just BT characters in general, it's, in my opinion, I would say avoid this banner. Unless they are favorites of yours, I would really say avoid this banner because I kind of feel like this is like a trap banner. Even though both Warrior of Light and Sephiroth are getting really good changes, I would really consider avoiding this banner and trying to save up for future banners because in my opinion, there are going to be some better units that I personally think would be a far better option to pick up for future Lufenia fights, for future like call abilities, for future not viabilities, but like for future convenience. So but you know, it's up to you to decide. Like I said, I'm not gonna tell you guys what to do with your game and whatnot, but let me know what you guys are gonna do. What are your plans going to be for this upcoming banner? And if you already have both of these 2 units, how excited are you for the upcoming changes? But anyways, that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys did enjoy it, consider liking the video and subscribing for future operaomnia content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video.